Hey, it's me, ABSD. I am excited to be back with our travel adventure series, and today to be talking to you guys about the Hoover Dam and Grand Canyon West, both which are super accessible and easy to get to if you are on a trip to Las Vegas. I highly recommend carving out a day to do this trip and attach it to your Las Vegas journey because it's so worth it, and you get to experience such a cool piece of history and nature, and it's just so awesome. So if you want to learn more about the Hoover Dam and Grand Canyon West, keep watching, and I'm going to share my best tips and tricks of how to make this trip possible on your Las Vegas adventure. Let's go. In Las Vegas, the airport is very close to the Strip, within 10 minutes. So renting a car from the Las Vegas airport is actually a really easy option. And if you have multiple people on your trip and you get to split the cost of the rental car, it's a no-brainer. We decided to rent a car starting at like 4 or 5 in the morning, being picked up as early as we could so that we could take advantage of our whole day and the whole day of having the car. On the way to the Hoover Dam, you pass by this city called Boulder City, Nevada. And really, there's not much else out there around the Hoover Dam. So for us, it was really early in the morning and we wanted to stop in for some breakfast. So we found this really cute little cafe called the Coffee Cup and stopped in for breakfast. And lo and behold, they're known for their coffee, they're known for their food, and it was an awesome experience. So awesome that one of the ladies on our trip bought us all a souvenir cup to take home with us. And I love mine, and I drink coffee out of it like all the time. So had a wonderful breakfast and then headed to the Hoover Dam, which is only 10 minutes from Boulder City. When you arrive at the Hoover Dam, there are a couple of options of what you can do while you're there. Something that I recommend is stopping and doing the walk over the bridge that overlooks the Hoover Dam. Not only do you get to cross into multiple states while standing there, but you also get to see the dam in its glory and might, and it just makes it a really cool perspective. There's a ton of information about the dam and how it was created and why it was created. After you finish walking across the bridge, which it is a decent walk and there are some stairs, there's a ramp to get up as well, so it is accessible, which we love. I recommend getting back in your car and driving down to the dam itself. There is a parking garage there that you can park in and get out and walk across the sidewalk, or you can drive across the dam and there's a parking lot at the top. Either way, you get to see the dam from a new perspective, which is really cool. From the backside, from the top parking lot, you get to be on the side that has more of the mountain range and really get to see like the water line, and it's really cool. I highly recommend, if you are going to go to the Grand Canyon, to stop by the Hoover Dam. It's on your way, and it's such an awesome experience to get to see something that it's just so cool. From there, we took a drive over to Grand Canyon West. The Grand Canyon is huge. You can go to Grand Canyon North, Grand Canyon South, but we decided to go to Grand Canyon West. Grand Canyon North and South are about 4 to 6 hours from Las Vegas. To go to Grand Canyon West, which is under 2 hours from the Hoover Dam. Sounded good to me. Grand Canyon West is super cool because it is a native land preserve, and when you arrive there, there's a cool visitor center. It's like a dome. If you think about it, think about how hot it gets in Arizona. It's a very interesting structure. It's very cool. And they have a bus system that take you to 3 different stops with the purchase of your tour. Something else that you can purchase is like a meal ticket and zip lining or a helicopter tour. If you do want to go ziplining, make sure you are there on days that it's open. It was not open on the day that we were there, and which was a bummer, but make sure if that's something that you really want to do that you go on a day where that's open. Do your research. So the bus system takes you to 3 different stops. The first stop that you can also purchase part of your ticket is the Skywalk experience. And what that is like is you walk out on this glass overlook over the Grand Canyon and get to look down into the canyon. freaking cool. You can't bring your phone with you, you can't bring your camera with you, you can't bring any belongings with you. And they have you put these shoe booties over your boots or your shoes so that nothing can happen to the bridge while people are on there for safety reasons. Thank you for keeping us safe, Grand Canyon West. Also, they have photographers on the bridge so that you can have your picture taken and take those pictures home with you, which is super cool. We got to experience a proposal while we were on Grand Canyon West on the Skywalk, which was super cool to see. The second spot they take you to is a different part in the Grand Canyon, and it's called Guano Point. This was my favorite stop that we went to because it had, at the point, they had a old cable car, because there was an explorer who found this cave full of guana. If you don't know what guana is, it is bat poop. Cool natural resource that the people could use for other things. And so they built this cable car system so that they could go down to this cave and get the guana and bring it back up to use it as a resource. It only worked for like a couple of times, and then it broke and they never fixed it. So now this cable car is just hanging out at this point, Guano Point, and you can go and see it and take pictures with it. And there's this old cable building that you can see as well. And from that point, you can see the Colorado River, which I think is really awesome as well. From there, you can hike up this rock structure and get higher up in the canyon and just soak it all in. Such a cool experience. At each stop, they did have somewhere to get something to eat or drink, and I highly recommend bringing water with you because it is hot and you want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. That is super important. The next stop is more of a get to know the history of the land and the history of the people who live on the land. And you can have an authentic lunch there, which is super cool with that meal ticket that you purchased if you purchased it. And the hike to the Grand Canyon is a little bit farther instead of just getting off of the bus and the Grand Canyon being in front of you. We didn't actually do much at this point. There were some shops that you could walk in and out of, but the time of day that we were there, it was later and the meal restaurant was closing and a lot of the shops were closed. And so this stop is actually optional. You can either stay on the bus and go back to the parking lot or get in your car and drive there yourself. Up to you. Overall, this experience was really worth it and a really awesome experience to get to see multiple parts of the canyon and get to extra information that we wouldn't have had otherwise. And I really enjoyed the experience. Getting to do the Skywalk, there was a really long line. That was something that we were not ready for, not prepared for. I mean, it's a tourist attraction. What do you expect? So we ended up waiting in that line for over an hour to do the Skywalk. It was really cool. I would still do it again, and I would recommend it to people. Just know that you might be waiting for a minute. Something I would recommend to do different from the way I did it was I would have eaten at that third spot. I would have had the authentic food. I would have enjoyed the authentic experience and really soaking in the culture and history that was around me. We didn't do that. We decided to get back in the car and we were gonna find dinner later. We hadn't really had lunch either, and so all of us were like really hangry by this point. And I highly recommend just remember to eat. The experience is super cool, but remember to eat. That's important, and you're going to enjoy it more if you're eating. What we ended up doing was we drove to Red Rock Canyon, which is outside of Las Vegas and by only 20 minutes. And it's a 13-mile scenic drive. You can get out of the car and do some hiking as well. We got there right as sunset was happening. So we got out of the car at one stop and took some pictures and got to experience the canyon and then did the scenic drive actually in the dark. It was very cool, but I would love to go back to be able to do it during the day. It could be a multi-hour experience with hiking and driving the scenic route. So if I were to do that again, I would definitely make it its own experience outside of Grand Canyon West and Hoover Dam, but to each their own. And then at the end of the day, you get to return your rental car and go back to your hotel, and either you can go out that night or have an easy night in. up to you. We decided to stop on the way back from Red Rock Canyon and get dinner and just hang out for the rest of the night because we were all exhausted. The coolest thing that I have figured out since I've lived in the West is just how much there is to see and do, and the just natural beauty and Mother Nature that is all over the West. So if you find yourself in the West, take the time to see what else is around. Plan a day to take the drive and go see the Grand Canyon. Plan a day to stop and go to Red Rock Canyon. There's so many incredible places that there are to visit, and if you pay attention, you'll find them. So if you want help planning a road trip or are interested in planning a road trip, ABSD Travel is here to help with that. ABSD Travel believes in making travel accessible for all people. We believe that travel is a beautiful part of life, and we want people to experience that and have that new appreciation of life and appreciation of beauty. So freaking cool. So if you liked this video, I would love it if you liked, commented, and subscribed to my channel so that you can find out more about my travel adventures and also just cool tips and tricks about traveling. Be awesome, love is unlimited, and remember, life is beautiful. Go out and experience it. Bye, till next time.